Hi guys, as we all know, Malaysians are not the sort of people who clash against the cops. This might be normal in some other countries, some people from different parts of the world. But in Malaysia, to hear the public rioting against the cops to the point that an assistant commissioner of the police, an ACP, which is a high-ranking position in the force, to end up with a bloodied face was not normal. It is actually quite disturbing. It is disturbing enough that even our Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim and the Deputy Prime Minister Zahid Hamidi have been compelled to come out and address the issue. Now, for context, what was the issue all about? Well, it's about the issue was about the eviction of the residents of Kampung Sungai Baru from their homes. Now, according to the police, they were just following a court order. That means there was a court order for the residents to be evicted. So the police was just following the court order, and the police blamed outsiders for provoking unrest and causing chaos during the eviction process. And well, this might actually be the case. It might indeed be the case that this entire commotion, this entire kerfuffle problem actually occurred because of what outsiders did. And even if this description is accurate, the government and the authorities should do well to put themselves in the shoe of the public to understand how this event might be perceived in a different light by the people. The public, unlike the authorities, for all you know, might not be looking at this from a law and order point of view. We might be conflating this event with other events and forming a whole different perception of what that commotion means. As it is, it might be the case that the public are already feeling that there are two sets of law in Malaysia. One is for the elites, which treats the elites with velvet gloves and lets them off the hook with nothing more than a slap on the wrist. Even if the elites commit extraordinary crime, even if they commit big crimes, they'll be left off the hook with nothing more than a slap of a wrist. While the other set of law deals with the public and treats the ordinary people quite harshly, even if they were to do something natural like defend their homes. Now, let me give you two cases that happened just recently, just like 1 or 2 weeks ago, that might suggest to you why the public might be conflating the Kampung Sungai Baru incident with other events. Now, the first incident that I would like to bring to your mind is in regards to how the Segambut Bersatu Deputy Division Chief Adam Muhammad was freed from 12 corruption and money laundering charges. After just paying a fine, he paid a compound and he got freed. Even Rafizi, who is a part of the ruling government, was disturbed enough about the event to describe the case as yet another troubling example of how high-profile corruption cases can be settled with money. Rather than be decided in the court through trial or through punishment, just pay money and the issue is settled. This is what Rafizi had to say about the acquittal of Adam Ratlan. This is what he had to say. This is the most profitable business. You are accused of getting 6.7 million. You pay 4.1 million compound and you still have 2.6 million. That's a profit margin of 39% without doing anything. Now, for context, Adam Ratlan, his charges is in total he was charged with taking about 6.7 million in kickbacks, and the compound was 4.1 million. So basically, he got, according to Rafizi, he got 2.6 million in net, which is a profit, and he suffered nothing. He suffered nothing. He didn't go to jail, wasn't punished or anything like that. He just got a clean profit of 2.6 million. So that's what Rafizi means when he says that corruption might be the most profitable business in Malaysia. You do nothing and you get a profit margin of 39%. Rafizi also said, if a regular person steals milk, the sentence is 6 months in prison. But if a VIP's relatives are accused of corruption, as long as they pay back, they can be released. What Rafizi said here is actually echoing how a lot of people are seeing the law and order situation in Malaysia. Another recent case was the seizure of 169 million ringgit, 169 million ringgit, a huge amount that belong to, that allegedly belong to former Prime Minister Ismail Sabri lah. Although the government sees such an extraordinary amount from Ismail Sabri, they still haven't charged Ismail Sabri with anything. When the authorities are seizing the assets of an elite but not charging them for any wrongdoing, although the seizure of the asset is self-evidently indicating that the elites have committed wrongdoing. If the government, if the authorities took 160 million from you, seized your asset, of course they are thinking that you did something wrong. Now, why else would they seize your such a huge amount of asset from you? If this is what is happening, can the authorities really blame the people for thinking that the elites won't be punished, even if they pilfer millions, hundreds of millions, while the people will be punished even if they take some milk packets, or even if all they are doing is just protecting their homes? I think the government and the authorities would do well to reflect on the events that occurred in Nepal and Indonesia recently, to appreciate how the people are perceiving their relationship with their rulers. Not only in Malaysia, but in all across the world. In Nepal, protests that began over a temporary government ban on Facebook, X and YouTube spiraled into a deadly unrest very quickly. Demonstrators, angry at the corruption and nepotism, torched the homes of senior leaders of Nepal. The wife of the former Prime Minister was even killed after protesters set fire to her house. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli's residence was also attacked, and videos circulated of how his finance minister was being beaten on the street. 19 lives were lost before Oli was forced to resign. In Indonesia, the death of a motorcycle taxi driver run over by police during protests against lawmakers' financial perks sparked the largest demonstration of President Prabowo Subianto's young presidency. Public anger was so high, so high, that the home of the finance minister as well as several other lawmakers were looted in Indonesia. Now, Malaysia might not be close to that level of unrest. I don't think we are close to that level of unrest. But the incident in Kampung Sungai Baru should serve as a reminder of how fragile stability can be when people's perception of fairness is eroding, at the same time when we are facing an increasing amount of economic pressures. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim was right. He was right to condemn the attack as heinous and call for swift justice. He was right. Nobody's saying that he's wrong. But rather than look at the event only from the point of view of law and order, I would suggest that it might be prudent for him to use the occasion as a means to measure the pulse of the nation. People might be having a harder time than the government believes. While we are having a hard time, we might also be seeing the elites in the country having a jolly good time, flaunting the law, flaunting their wealth, while pilfering money that belongs to the country without suffering any serious consequences. At that time, when the police are saying that they are following court order that is seen to be favorable to a well-connected, rich developer to evict ordinary people from their homes. From a law and order point of view, everything might be in order. But in terms of perception, things might be developing in the hearts and the minds of the people in such a way that it's probably not very favorable to the government. This is what I have to say. I think the government will do well to study the reaction of the people to the Kampung Sungai Baru incident. If the majority of the people see the attack as shameful and condemn it outright, then okay, no problem. The government can be rest assured that the heart of the people and the will of the government is on the same page. It's aligned, then no problem. But if there is silence and the silence is deafening, it means nobody is actually condemning the protesters at the Kampung Sungai Baru incident. it might reflect something more troubling lah, yeah? That ordinary Malaysians are maybe quietly sympathizing with the frustration behind such an act. That sort of silence, if it exists lah, we shall see in the next few days. If that sort of silence exists lah, yeah, it should serve as a warning sign to the government. And it better take heed lah. I think it should take heed. Anyway, that's all that I have for you in this episode. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you again in the next episode as always lah, yeah. Take care. Goodbye. Have a good day. Bye bye guys.